Thanks everybody for sharing. I hope you're having a good Wednesday. Happy hump day. All day it felt like Friday to me, but it's not. It's Wednesday. So anyways, down on the downhill slope of this week. Tonight I'm going to be showing you some easy card layouts using the Artistry Blooms Designer Series paper and some 1/2-inch cardstock strips. Okay, so I'll just show you this Artistry Blooms Designer Series paper quickly. So one side is quite bold in your face, and the other one kind of has, the opposite side kind of has an ombre look to it. So more bold patterns and then more subtle patterns and images. And a great variety of nice bright Stampin' Up! Colors. Okay, there's a couple of these I'm going to use for the demonstration. And we're ready to get started. Hi, Shar and Marie. Hi, Kathy. Hi, Susie. I feel like I missed somebody. And there's Susan. Shar from Wisconsin. Joyce Wilhelm from Oxford, Ohio. Ladies, I think that's fun if you put where you're from. I think it's kind of a neat way to connect, especially at this time. Okay, so I have pulled out 3 colors of cardstock. I have Melon Mambo, Mango Melody, and Gorgeous Grape. And they're each cut to be standard size card bases. So either 5.5 by 8.5 or 4.25 by 11. So for this, you're just going to cut and score the opposite direction. Okay. I'm going to bring in my paper trimmer, and I'm going to cut this Designer Series paper 5.5. I'm going to use this side, 5.5 by 4.25. So it will completely cover up my card front. I need to scooch up a little bit. 5.5 by 4.25. Hi, Pat and Vicki. Okay. I'm not going to stamp on the inside of my card right now. I might change my mind later, but for now I'm leaving it blank. But I am going to add this piece of Whisper White cardstock, measuring 5.25 by 4 inches to the inside. Now, if you want to stamp a sentiment or image for the inside of your card, I would just suggest you do it before you adhere the white cardstock to the inside. That way, if you make a mistake stamping or whatever, you can just flip it over. Okay, so I've cut this 5.5 by 4.25, so it fills up the card front. Okay, no border on that one. Now you could just put a stamped image or sentiment on here with a little embellishing and be all done. But we are going to add some paper strips. And I've just cut several paper strips in my 3 colors. And I'm just going to add these, adhere them with my multi-purpose glue. You do want them to go off the edge of each side of the card. Kind of like that. Or do I want a white one? No, I don't want white. I want to be bold. Okay, I think I'm going to do that. And you can put them, you know, at a slight angle, or you can angle them even more. And I like the way, what I'm doing right now when I'm arranging these, I'm going to choose one. Once I have them where I think I want them, I'm going to choose just one to adhere. So I'm trying to estimate the amount from this corner to this strip, and I'd like it to be the same as this corner, and that looks pretty good, I think. So I'm going to go ahead and adhere this purple strip. Now, to know where to put it exactly where I want it, I'm just holding on to one end, and I'm going to add some multi-purpose glue like that. And then I can come back on the other side and add a little more glue. Okay. Oops, I think I might need another dot of glue here. Yes. Now this I'm going to use as my guide for the other two pieces that I adhere. So now I can put my glue right on that card front. And again, you want to make sure that the end of from each side of the strip is hanging off the edges of the card. And lastly, I'll add the Melon Mambo strip. Okay. Just want that to be dried well and staying in place, because if it's not quite dry, the strips can shift a little bit when I'm using the cutter. One thing I was going to mention to you is, and this came up a lot yesterday with the kids using this multi-purpose glue, sometimes we get a little bit extra extending beyond where we want it. Give it a few moments to dry, and then you can just take your finger and do that. Or if you have an adhesive eraser, we don't sell these, but I'm sure somebody sells them. You can just do that, but you want to wait for it to pretty much dry it, but it'll feel tacky, and then you can do that. So now I'm going to bring my paper trimmer back in, and I want to line up the card. Let's see better over here. I'm going to line it up at 4 1/4, the width of the card. I'm going to cut right up there. Okay, and I'm going to just toss those aside. And then I want to do it on the other side as well. Getting those pieces that extend beyond the borders of the card, the edges of the card, off. And I'm going to show you a couple of variations of this, so hang on with me. All right, I'm going to now bring in the Beautiful Friendship stamp set, which seems kind of fancy, a little not really going with this style, but I'm just using the Birthdays Are the Best Days stamp. So I have that ready to go, and I'm going to ink that up in, oh, here's my goodness. I'm going to ink that up because it is a photo polymer set. I want to use my Stampin' Pierce mat. And I'm going to, I think I'm going to ink it up with the Gorgeous Grape. Okay. And I will punch this with a 2-inch circle punch. And to make that pop up even more, I'm going to use my 2 1/4 inch circle punch to punch a Mango Melody circle to layer it on. And I'll pop this up with some dimensionals. We have the minis handy. I'll have to pull out a package of the regular size dimensionals, but this will be fine. And I can go just like that. Super simple, right? Almost looks like a good card for a child or maybe even a teenager, somebody who's kind of artsy. Okay, now let's go ahead and do a variation of this. Again, I'm going to set that aside for now. I'm going to use a different designer series paper from the Artistry Blooms collection, and I'm going to cut it to be 5.5 inches high. But this time, instead of 4 1/4, I'm going to cut it to 3 3/4. Okay, 3 3/4. Now I'm not going to adhere it to my card base just yet. I want to put my strips on first. By the way, I got this idea from this card layout with the strips from a demonstrator named Heidi Collins. So I'm grateful. I just happened to be viewing some videos from a blog hop, and hers was one, and I really don't know her. So I think I moved my fingers a little bit, so I just want to check if I have that in place where I want it. No, I want it down a little. Again, I'm just trying to get this and this about equidistant from the corner to the strip of cardstock. Yes. Okay, so I've got my purple one in place now. I'll add the Mango Melody. This is a great way to use up some strips you have. I'm using 1/2 inch strips. They don't necessarily need to be 1/2 inch. You could make the strips all the same width, or even do some variations in size or width. Yep, stuck it right to my paper. And now I'm going to trim those ends off. This kind of reminds me of the rainbow theme going on right now too. You see a lot of that happening. Okay, so now I need a card base to adhere this to. I could do purple. I should say Gorgeous Grape. The Melon Mambo or the Mango Melody. Yeah, not liking it on the Mango Melody. I think I'll go with, yeah, I'll go with the Melon Mambo for this card. Just want to make sure my borders are even all the way around. On each side, that looks pretty good. Okay, this time I will stamp my Whisper White with, I think I'll do the Melon Mambo. Trying to decide if that's really what I want. No, I think I'm going to stamp with Gorgeous Grape again. And cut out that sentiment with my 2-inch circle. Of course, your sentiment or whatever stamped image you put in the center, you might need to use some different punches, or even want to use different punches, and or some dies, because dies are always fun to work with too. I have a great big bag, tote bag, way too heavy, so I'll probably have to split it in two, of holiday catalogs that are ready to be put in the mail tomorrow. If you are a customer of mine that's ordered with me since January, you will automatically receive one of the holiday catalogs. If you are a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, you should have received one from the company. And if you are in need of a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, you don't have a demonstrator that you're working with, I would love to be your Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. All you have to do is message me, and I will get a catalog in the mail to you as well. Okay, so here are two. Would you like to see one more variation? Let's see here. Okay, I'll do one more variation for you. Julie, I'm glad you like the cards. Joyce says yes, do one more. So I'm going to cut this at 5 1/4. By 4 inches. Oops, that's not what I wanted to do. Let me think a second. 5 1/4. Yes, that is what I wanted to do. No, it's not. Getting all mixed up. I tried to turn it in the direction that I thought you'd be able to see it better. So 5 1/4, and then I want to do by 4 inches. Okay. And I think I'm trying to decide, do I want more of the purple or more of that mango? And I think what I'm going to do is cut some off each end. I know that's wasteful. Susie's probably rolling her eyes at me, but sometimes I just didn't do that. And I'll find a way to use those strips, right? Okay. So on here, I'll just make a horizontal card. And again, I'll go to some of my strips, but you might, let me see if we have anything fun that could, are these quite long enough? Not quite, maybe. Because this card is going to be horizontal, you want some strips that are, you need to make sure your strips will go all the way across. That looks pretty good. I think this one's going to be too short. Yes. But don't worry, I have more. I don't know if I like that one. No, let's go back to. I think I'm going to, where's the other? I thought I had another one with purple. Okay, I'm going to cut a couple of 1/2-inch strips from this paper. that. And then I'm going to cut another from the opposite end. I have that. So again, really, really simple way to use strips of cardstock or DSP. I'm going to put my middle one down first. Some of you read my post from yesterday that I had some kids here crafting. They each made their own matching game with cardstock and designer series papers and punches. They had a great time, but this is what do I want to say? A good card sketch or a good layout to use with kids. And, you know, kids just like, you know, the more variation, the better. The more color, the better. The more designs, the better. They just want it all. So this would be fun and then a neat way to see what the kids actually create and make. Oh, Susie, you're making cards right along with me. Susie, your grandchildren would love this. This would be great for them to make birthday cards for their friends. All right, I have that. I didn't think I was going to like it on the mango, but I kind of do. But let's go ahead and see. Yeah, how about the purple? What's your vote, people? That green is really cool, Julie. This designer series paper has just awesome color combinations. Like here, it's navy, I believe Coastal Cabana, Bermuda Bay, Granny Apple Green. Oh, Susie, how fun. You have your granddaughters getting paper pumpkin and then you put them all together by Zoom. That's awesome. Oh, Joyce went mango. I was trying to step outside my comfort zone, which this really is, I have to admit, is definitely outside my comfort zone, being on that mango. I need another scrap of mango. I think this is large enough. Yes. And then I think I'm going to stamp in purple again, the gorgeous grape. I just keep pulling cardstock and now I've got this huge pile next to me on the right. I pull a little bit out and then I put the excess there. So now I've got this mess going. And this was a fun way for me to get back to using the Beautiful Friendship set, even though I wanted to focus on using that Artistry Blooms paper, which I have to admit, just that designer series paper is sort of outside of my comfort zone. It has a lot going on, but I was determined to use it. And I think the cards turned out fine and worked well with this layout. Now, because you all always tell me I need a little bling on the cards, let's do this. We can add some dimensionals, not dimensionals, rhinestones. Okay. And to give a little more pizzazz, to our cards and our rhinestones. We can even color some with a blender pen. This is Dark Mango Melody. I do like to let them dry a bit. Use a couple big ones. And then go back over them. And then, let's see, I'll use my take your pick tool. I lost the cap to my pointy end. It's here somewhere, it'll show up. Although I said that about that stamp I lost from my Sunflower Celebration stamp set. I still haven't found that. I'll use all three different sizes on that one. This one I'm going to do something very different. I'm getting real crazy here, ladies. See what happens during the pandemic? I get a little crazy.